You ever watch a war start over something as dumb as a steel gate? Yeah, that happened. Not a fist fight, not a little neighborly squabble, an all-out, scorched-earth battle over a piece of property line that had been in my family since before cars had radios. If you told me 20 years ago that my life would get hijacked by a homeowners association run by a woman who made IRS auditors look warm and fuzzy, I'd have laughed. But I wasn't laughing the day I stood ankle-deep in red Virginia clay, sunburned and muddy, watching the last weld spark pop on a gate that would end up changing my whole damn world. See, I'd spent 3 days digging that trench, running conduit for a keypad no one but me was supposed to know the code to. You know what I mean? After 20 years out here, horses in the morning, bees in the afternoon, peace at night, I thought I'd earn some quiet. My granddad logged this land. My dad raised hounds and honey. Me? I just wanted to be left the hell alone. But Foxbridge Ridge kept growing, gobbling up woods and fields with its matching mailboxes and artificial lakes. And with it came the HOA, an army of bored suburbanites in pastel polos, led by a woman who could glare a wild boar off a cornfield. Karen Randall. Yeah, that's her real name. Can you believe it? HOA president, moral overlord, part-time sheriff, full-time menace. The first time I met her, she parked half her Lexus on my shoulder, yelling at a UPS guy for bringing her patio set a day late. Second time, she was eyeballing my honey stand like it was a meth lab. Third time, she sent her minions across my gravel road, swearing up and down it was community access. That was the day the gate went up. Welded the sign myself. Private property, no trespassing, 24/7 video monitoring, smiley face. That smiley face? For me, not them. 3 days later, I catch her standing outside my new gate, hands on hips, bob haircut bouncing with every step. She paces, she glares, she pokes her phone, then leaves. I figure that's the end. I'm wrong. Next week, I'm near the barn, compost shovel in hand, when the keypad beeps. Only I have the code, so who the hell? Then I see them. Karen, plus 3 more HOA board members, marching up the road like they're delivering subpoenas to the Hatfields. We're conducting a visual compliance review, she announces, all loud and official, as if my driveway is a public sidewalk. I tell her, plain and simple, this is my land. Always has been. You need to turn around. She looks at me like I'm a dog who just peed on her rug. One guy tries to take pictures. I pull out my phone, start recording, quiet, calm, the way you do when you've dealt with actual criminals. She freaks, threatens to sue me for recording her. I remind her about the no trespassing sign she stepped over. That shuts her up. She retreats, minions in tow. I thought, all right, that'll cool her jets. Nope. At sunrise a few days later, there's a pounding on my door that shakes the house. 3 deputies on my porch, cruiser running out front. Garrett Bain. That's me, still in my pajamas, coffee in hand. You're under arrest for criminal threats and assault with a deadly weapon. I actually laugh. You got the wrong guy, Sarge. They don't smile. Karen filed a sworn statement saying I brandished a gun and threatened her and her crew. The lie was so big, so stupid, I could barely speak. But I'd been a marshal. I knew how these things played out. I handed over my mug, put on my boots, slipped a USB stick with all my camera and drone footage into my pocket, and let them cuff me. My drone, a loyal little bastard, was already circling, beaming footage to the cloud. That's one thing you learn living alone. You record everything. The holding cell was colder than a preacher's handshake. I sat there, thinking about all the real criminals I'd put away, and how I was now locked up because a HOA president didn't like being told no. I called Alicia Vance, my lawyer, my friend, the best property attorney in the state. She was all fire and heels, promising to scorch the earth. She got me out on bail by lunch. The horses hadn't noticed I was gone, but something in the air had changed, a thick cloud of gossip, emails flying around Foxbridge Ridge painting me as some kind of ticking time bomb. Karen's slander went out to every inbox. Dangerous encounter. Armed neighbor. Remain vigilant. Not a name, but everyone knew. But here's the twist. My side had the truth. Drone footage, gate cam, time-stamped and stitched together before breakfast. It showed everything. Karen and her HOA squad stepping over the line. Me calm as a pond. No gun, just a phone. I sent it to Alicia. She grinned. They're dead. She leaked it to the local news. The story blew up. Veteran arrested for defending his property. The kind of headline that gets old men in diners nodding and buying your coffee. The video went viral. Internet strangers wanted to crowdfund my defense. Suddenly, I wasn't a villain. I was a symbol. People started seeing the HOA for what it was, an overreaching mess, powered by egos and unchecked authority. Of course, Karen tried to spin it. The video is misleading. We stand by our concerns. Nice try. We had synced audio, aerials, everything but a laugh track. Alicia filed to dismiss the charges and launched a civil suit for defamation and trespass. That's when the cracks appeared. Greg, a board member, never met a fence he didn't want to paint. Reached out privately, said he'd been pressured to sign Karen's complaint. The dominoes were starting to tip. I doubled my cameras, installed a motion-triggered speaker that blasted, "You are trespassing. Leave now." Black SUVs scattered like roaches. Locally, #GateKaren trended. But the real turn came from inside. A former resident named Linda, then a Marine named Dale, both burned by Karen's leadership. They had horror stories, ruined credit, sleepless nights, fines for flags and mailboxes. Alicia lined up interviews. Me, Linda, Dale, even Greg. The whole community heard what HOA power games could do. That's when the emails leaked. A board member's teenage kid thought the HOA was fascist cosplay, God bless Gen Z, and sent us emails showing Karen orchestrating my arrest. Once he's arrested, he'll have to comply or move. Alicia brought the receipts to court. The judge actually smirked when he read them out loud. But the smoking gun was a boundary change proposal, buried 6 pages deep in county records, filed by Karen's husband's firm, trying to sneak part of my land into the HOA. No hearing, no notice, just legalese and fraud. If I hadn't put up that gate, I'd have lost my land without a fight. We sued again, fraud, conspiracy, attempted annexation, the whole playbook. Local news ran with it. HOA land grab. The public was pissed. More board resignations. The zoning board called an emergency session, froze all updates. Karen vanished. No meetings, no statements. Her empire was rotting from the inside. The trial was cinematic. Rain on courthouse windows, press in the aisles, Alicia in full don't mess with me mode. Karen skipped day 1. Too distressed. Her lawyer argued misinterpreted intentions. Yeah, right. The jury saw everything. Footage, fake signature, internal emails. Greg testified. Karen said if we push hard enough, he'll either cave or leave. The county's own witnesses confirmed. No hearings, forged docs, fast-track changes. When Alicia played a voicemail of Karen telling her consultant to get it done before I built another fence, the room went ice cold. Jury verdict. All counts in my favor. $780,000 in damages. Permanent injunction against the HOA. Even the judge called it the cherry on top. I walked out quiet, but inside, my blood was humming. But here's where it gets better. A week later, as I'm finalizing paperwork, Karen struts into the county office in designer heels, sunglasses indoors, the works. Deputy Carter, good man, good eyes, reads her rights. False police report, forgery, conspiracy, attempted annexation. She tries to play it cool, but the mask cracks. They cuff her, march her past me. She spits. You think this ends with me? I just say no. It starts with you. Within 2 days, 3 more board members jump ship. Public apologies, emergency meetings, suggestions to dissolve the HOA entirely. I file a deed restriction. No future HOA can ever claim an inch of my property. Alicia says, "You seceding from the state next?" I laugh. Just want to be left alone. The money covers repairs and upgrades. New barn roof, solar grid. A second Clydesdale named Judge, because why not? The best revenge is living well and outlasting your enemies. Karen pleads guilty to forgery. Does a plea deal. Gets 10 years, white-collar prison, but still. Her house sits empty. Neighbors rip up their HOA rules. A few show up at my gate one Saturday, not asking forgiveness, just wanting peace. I don't open the gate, but I tell them through the intercom. This land's fine the way it is. Y'all take care of your own now. They leave, and that's enough. Now, most nights, I sit on my porch, bourbon in hand, drone lazily circling overhead, horses grazing, the barn roof hole. No more headaches, no more threats, just me, 60 acres, and a fence line nobody's crossing again. Some folks ask why I fought so hard instead of moving. Let me back up a sec. This place, this fight, it wasn't about property or even money. It was about saying no, about drawing a line, about showing that sometimes the little guy can still win, that the truth matters, even when the other side controls the narrative. So, as the sun drops and the gate latches shut, I get to breathe, finally, in the kind of quiet you have to earn. No HOA, no Karen, just a man and his land, free, for now. Now let's hear it. What would you have done in my place? Was I right to fight back, or should I have cut my losses and moved on? Drop your thoughts below, right, wrong, or somewhere in between. I want to know what justice looks like where you live. And if you've got your own HOA horror story, don't hold back. Let's make some noise.